Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Hey everyone, welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Mac.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Pepper.
And today we are continuing on with our top 50 countdown. We are going from 40 to 31 this week.
Yes, we are.
If you watched last week's video, you saw there was
shocker.
a lot of contention amongst us and a couple of shockers.
Big shocker.
So we'll see what's in store for us this week.
I don't think it'll be quite as shocking for my list this week.
Sure, he
Twice
says.
as shocking for me.
Oh boy, I'm ready.
And
Just-
don't forget.
Just as ready as you should be
Oh, yes.
for a giveaway. Check out the video linked below for the details on that.
Woo.
I'll start it off. My number 40. Tapestry. No. Did you believe it for a second?
I did.
I was gonna go shut the video off.
My heart stopped. I was like, what?
Wow, that is shocking. I don't even know what his number one is anymore.
My number 1. No, not my number 1. My number 40 is the best production value ever.
Dwellings?
Honey Buzz?
Honey Buzz. Absolutely beautiful game. It gets number 40 just for that. It is also a really fun game. Worker, bee, bull placement. Lots of funs in this game. You get to go out and get your honey, get your nectar, fulfill orders. I really love the hive building and the really huge moves that you can have activating your, I don't know what they call them, but yeah.
Your little fan thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The production value on this one is quite amazing. I mean, it's a very
only like-
cheap game for what you get in the game.
I've only unboxed it, and I haven't played it, so I can't weigh in on that piece. But what I saw in the unboxing, I am in love with.
I think you'd
It's
like
a
it.
beautiful production.
I think you'd like it because it's very approachable too. I
yeah.
think there's not too much about it that I would say is like overwhelming or difficult. So I think you'll like it. But that's a good pick. So far, so
On his
good.
good side.
Now I will go with my number 40. And
Get
it
ready,
is almost the exact opposite on the production value.
I don't know.
Let me guess.
I mean, I'm fine with it, but it gets a lot of hate. A lot of hate for how it all comes together. And I think that could possibly turn some people off. If you walked by it, you've walked by people playing it and didn't know what it was, you'd probably be like,
Yeah.
this thing looks like it's an older game, or
Yeah.
it doesn't really, it might be a prototype.
Okay, that
possibly.
describes your whole collection.
I've got one game in mind.
Wow.
We'll see what it is.
Ethnos.
Oh.
Come here.
I thought you
Number
were talking
40
about...
Ethnos.
I thought he was talking about Grand Austria Hotel.
That one looks
That
fine.
one looks fine.
I could take Ethnos over Grand Austria Hotel.
Okay, well, like individually things in Ethnos are decent. Like I think the chips,
Chips are good.
if
cards
it
are
was
good.
a brighter game and a more
Yeah.
colorful game, they would make sense.
Yeah.
I don't think they're awful. But mixed with the darkness that's in the card artwork, which also by itself is not awful.
Yeah.
But the board's pretty blah.
I mean, I think...
The board itself is pretty blah. I don't know if I can
Yeah.
say that that's really there's much great about that. But I really
I thought
love
this was a little higher
Anyway.
for you.
Well,
Better for you.
Yeah, I really enjoy the game. It's another one of those where you play with a different set of cards each time, and they all have different powers. So kind of depending on what's in the game, sometimes you can get them to kind of work off of each other even, and other times they may not, and some may be more powerful in one game than another, depending on what else you have for options. But I really wish this one had more or another expansion. I don't think it'd be that hard to add more, just to add even more to replayability of it. But it's also pretty simple as to how it's played, and there's a little bit of that push your luck in it as well with the should I take one more card? Should I lay another set of them because that third dragon card might be coming.
Yeah.
I really like how that all comes together. It's one of my favorite games, and I think it's definitely underrated because of the way it looks. I think if it was redone just slightly with a few things, it could be seen as a lot better of a game.
Yeah. All right. Well, my number 40 is Deception Murder in Hong Kong.
Ooh.
I know we don't play this one very often, but I really like this game. I especially like being the detective, or the clue giver, the examiner, or whatever. I'm not a big fan of being the murderer, because I very quickly disintegrate into it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was them. So that part's intriguing. I don't know. It's just a different party game for us, and I like murder mystery type things, and so if you have players that can get creative with and tell the story of using the clues you used and the items you chose as the murder weapons, you can have a lot of fun with it if you're willing to have a lot of fun with it, and I just think it's unique. We have quite a few party games that I feel like are go-to, and I like to throw this one in there as kind of like the diffiner and upper.
I did not know you liked that.
I didn't either. We'll
I
have
do.
to try to get it to the table. I didn't know you did. But yeah,
I like it best specifically when I am the clue giver.
I do not like being the murderer. So much that even one time I may have forced an innocent role upon myself. So I was like, I am not going to be an obvious murderer again.
I know. I think that's the only thing
That's the hard
I don't
part.
know if. The worst part is the people we game with. I don't know if any of us are great at being the murderer.
Mm-hmm.
I think
only
it might.
one, and she never wants to be.
I think
murderer.
it might be me. I think that's
could
what
be
might be me, and I'm not that great at it.
Yeah. I think Abby's kind of good too.
Well, probably Abby.
Abby can lie with a straight face.
Yeah. But no, it's a good game. I think if you have, like you said, if you have the right group of people, it can be fun. But yeah, I think sometimes it can be tough to be the murderer because if you if you make choices of some and they're able to give a certain clue that no one else has, it is very, very difficult to
Yeah,
get it off of yourself.
It heavily weighs on the murder object, so you have to be kind of smart when you're picking. So,
But it's a good game.
I like it.
Number 39. Wow. We're in the 30s already.
Oof.
This is a game that is so small, I've had it in my pocket this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Sprawlopolis. It's a multiplayer game, but it's mostly a solo game for me. You're drawing cards, building out your city, trying to connect same colored blocks, because at the end of the game, you're going to be scoring a point for each block in your largest group of each color. You're trying to connect all of your roads into one big road, because each road is -1 point. And the back of each of these cards that kind of make up your city is a different scoring condition, so you'll have 3 of those each game, and there's 18 of those, I believe, so that adds a lot of variability in how you can set up. But yeah, even with 3 different ways to score, it's still a very simple, approachable game that I like quite a bit, and there are 6 expansions that I own, and they
Ooh.
all fit in this little wallet.
Oh,
So yeah,
nice.
nice little package there.
So yeah, if you're looking for a small solo game, that might be the one for you. I played this one time, and I guess I don't really remember that well, but I think I did like the puzzly aspect of it. So
Sounds like Hokkaido.
sort of, yeah.
A little bit.
What do you got for 39, dear?
Oh yeah, for 39. This one might surprise you. This is probably my most shocking, but at the same time not overly shocking.
Was this a former number 1?
It might have been. It was close when I first got it. It was right up there.
I think I know what it is.
It was right up there. It's a
And
shimmy game,
Is it
Garfield game,
Architects?
Architects of the West Kingdom.
Wow.
Wow, Zach
I finally got to you,
loved
didn't I?
this game. That's surprising. I thought this would be higher for you. Zach
I know.
loved this game. You
I
could
know.
not get
This
enough
is
of this
sad.
game.
I'm gonna cry.
I know. There was actually
Damn
a
it,
chance
I mean,
that this didn't make my list.
He hasn't
This
even
was for a while on the
Raiders,
possibility of not
Paladins,
making my list, and it
Viscounts.
was too. I couldn't let it go. I couldn't let it not be on my list. But
That's kind of shit.
I really love the worker placement in this. Worker placement's like it has to be my favorite. And the worker placement in this, where you just keep building up and can get more and more resources, I just love that. I love it. Ever since we turned it into a race game, it's hurt it, in my opinion, where everyone races to the chapel. The expansion at least prolongs it a little bit more.
I only race there because that's the only way I can get points.
Right, and that's what makes it tough, because then it's like at most you maybe get a few buildings built, and then it just kind of takes away from the game. I wish they would make another game with that same type of mechanism. I don't think they will, but
they will.
And then
there's probably one out there.
Already. That's true. I mean, they did possibly redo a game that we brought up last time.
Yeah, maybe.
Raiders. So they might redo it slightly, and we'll see. Maybe it'll jump back up there in the new version. Or
that one was my number one game at one point, and it is off the list as well for me. For the same reasons, and I feel like it kind of starts out the same way every time, because you're trying to get those symbols to be able to build. So I feel like it kind of started the same and ended the same every time we played.
I don't know. I still like it, and I would still play it anytime someone wanted to play it, but it's sadly slipping down on my list.
This used to come home with us like almost every weekend.
I loved it. I loved it, and I still do. It still has a special place.
All right. Well, my 39 is a new to me game this year.
This year?
New to me this year. Yeah.
2021?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I just played it.
Cult of the New to her.
I know.
We don't have any new games on this list.
These are classics.
I know. It's just big for me. I don't like learning new games, and for one to be high up in my, well, they're probably
Shem Phillips game.
No, it's Council of Four.
Ooh.
I learned this one. I won this one. I was like,
I won this one.
Actually,
number
no.
2.
I love the production in this game. Oh my gosh, do I love the production in this game? Just fabulous. And
if it had just a little bit more, it might even compete with Honey Bus. I didn't think about this game.
It is a nice, cheap one, and it's got all of those very minis.
Yeah, and then there's those good amount, those decent sized ones. I think the gameplay is just so unique, the way you slide people off. I think that's so cool. I love trying to build a route. I mean, it's very much like in my wheelhouse for me, and so I think I've only played it twice. I don't even mind if I lose. I think I just love this game. It challenges me in a way that I like.
Yeah, I love that when you're the route building or whatever, connecting it and scoring everything that's connected
on
to
the
it.
line. I'm like, why would you ever not build
I know
on the route? I mean, I know you can't always get the cards for it, but
that feels so rewarding. And
yes,
that's probably a theme in my picks. I
like
to be
high
rewarded.
rewards.
One of the most satisfying. Satisfaction.
So I think that one is gonna be a top contender probably in years to come, because I think it's just that good. But for now, that's where she's at.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
What do you got for 38?
38
Get my fingers right.
is pretty much the exact opposite of a new to me game. This was one of our very first.
Old Faithful.
Ticket to Ride Europe. It's a classic for a reason. This whole Ticket to Ride series introduced, set collection to me, route building. I think it's a beautiful production. Yeah. Great colors, great trains, plastic trains. And it's one that our whole family has played, so that adds a little nostalgia to it. That our parents would always play it with us.
It kind of like swept through. I feel like our high school friend. I mean, maybe it really was just us, but it was like, I don't know. My brother brought it home. You guys got it. It was like it all of a sudden became the next staple after we had Catan. And so it was just like, bam.
Yeah, it was that and Catan, and then Carcassonne from Taylor. Those were the ones that really got me into it, and Bonanza from Taylor as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those were kind of the 4 that got me into all this, which dragged everyone else here on this futon into that as well.
Don't forget Dead of Winter. I think that was one of our first 2. Maybe a
Right
mistake.
up there.
Oh,
That
boy.
was that might have been a mistake.
Not every game is a winner.
Wow.
That he brought home right away, anyway.
Mhm.
All right.
So we got my 38, which is a game you mentioned
Oh, we have
just
crossover?
earlier.
Console 4?
It's not. You did not mention it on your list.
Oh.
You mentioned it when I was talking about my other game
Uh-huh.
that you thought did not look good, did not have production
Oh.
value.
Grand Austria Hotel?
Grand Austria Hotel.
Oh, I don't understand.
Oh, you need to play this one. This will be way higher.
I
on
played
your
it
list.
at least twice. No, it's confining.
I love this game. You got the dice.
He loves it so much it's 38.
You got the dice. You got the dice rolling. That's all you need
Which
in a
is
game. You get all
annoying.
those dice, all them dice.
Oh, like they roll perfectly every time.
I'm not
Sometimes
saying
you
they
get
do.
stuck in the
I know.
worst number.
I know, but then it's like sometimes you have those choices where you got maybe 2 or 3 on an action you want to take. Yeah, or maybe probably more like 1 or 2 on an action you might want to take, but you're like, it'd be really nice if I could get 3 on that action. So then you go for it and roll it, and then you don't get any, and then you're like, gotta get rid of another die and re-roll. And then you get the 1 or 2 that you originally had, and it's like, do I just take it now or not? There's just something about that I really like, but then I also I like all the card play in it, trying to get guests and get the resources or the different types of what is it, wine, coffee, whatever,
Tea, yeah.
a few different things, bagels.
Not quite.
But no, and then trying to feed them, and also while having rooms available for those specific colors, and kind of trying to get those sets of colors completed. I just like how it all kind of works together.
Does it work together? I feel like it does not work together.
Oh my
I feel
gosh,
like I
it
can
works together
only
so
I feel
well.
like I can only focus on like 1 or 2 things. I'm lucky if I get a card or 2 out.
No, it's a good game. It's a great game.
Yeah,
I highly recommend it.
Didn't make my list, but
It did
I've
not
only
make
played
my
it once.
list. I'll have to see because it's not one that I was excited to come back to the table for, like Champions of Midgard. All right.
Wow, I'm off in my own world again. I'm starting to go
He
off
is.
the tracks.
He is. All right, my 38 is Just One. I struggled with where to put this one because it's a group game, so it's like, how do you rank it? Because it's so different than some of these other ones, and do I prefer Just One over some of these, or so it's messy for me to think this one through, and I like playing it. I think it's a great group game. Everyone we played it with loves it. For me, I feel like I've played it enough times now that I'm just like, okay, we need to find a new party game. This one can kind of fall back a little bit. We can find something else, and this one can kind of be an old, reliable type of one. But, I mean, it's great. So, I don't have anything more to say. It's a great game. I think it's absolutely a staple. If you guys have a board game collection or are trying to make one, it is absolutely a necessary group game.
I wanted to not put this one on my list, but I wanted to put something else in its place, but it didn't end up making the list, and that was Scattergories. It's a little similar. You're trying to not match what the other people are saying, but it's competitive. So then that kind of pushed that up above it a little bit. But that didn't make my list.
I had that one. I was trying to get it in. I just could not get it in. I wanted Just One on the list, but I couldn't get it.
I thought that'd be your top 20.
It's just so hard to rank group games, I feel like,
It is.
because you really don't get to play them unless you have a
It
group.
is.
And we do have groups, but I mean, I think we have a lot of group games too, to where we either split up or we can play a group game. So
Right.
I just
It's
kind
a
of
good
threw it
ga-
in where I
it's
thought
a-
it fits, and it definitely could move up or down.
It's a great one. I don't know that I have any party games on mine, but that was, like I said, that would have been my top one on the list for
Yeah,
sure if I
great
would
party
have put one in.
All right.
Ooh, me. This is my surprise for the day. I did not think this one was going to make my top 50. This is a brand new to me game from this year. Not only did it make my top 50, it made my top 40. Canvas.
I haven't played this one yet.
No, I think you'll like it quite a bit. This one is just so unique. You're drafting, picking up see-through cards and trying to overlay them so that they have certain symbols. So they have artwork on each of them, but that doesn't really come into play. It's
Oh.
mostly the symbols at the bottom and the colors,
Okay.
which are trying to match certain scoring conditions that are different each game.
Mhm.
And then for each, you build 3 paintings, and for each of them, you will get ribbons for how many scoring conditions you match. And I don't know, I just think that see-through mechanism really, really works for me. And it's a very approachable but deceptively thinky game.
Oh, great.
So what he's saying is you probably don't want to play it with him or me because you don't like AP.
Oh, man. I
No.
don't, because
No,
I don't get it.
No, it was a lot more thinky than I thought it would be
That's
when I first
disappointing.
played
It
it.
looks so simple and clean.
I mean, it still is simple, but
Click and bait and switch.
it is a little bit of bait and switch. It's still not that difficult and
I
thinky,
mean, it's
but
not hard to play.
Yeah.
right, but it's definitely yes. It could people that want to take it seriously, like me and Jesse probably, will overanalyze things when it should just probably be a game that you don't. But no,
And you can
It's a good
hang
thing.
it on the wall. One of the very few games.
that is
you
true.
can
I
hang
like
on
that
the
about
wall.
it. And it looks very nice. Now my game at 37,
Yeah.
which is also, well, I don't know if that one's a card game. I guess it's not really a card game. This one is a card game. It is pretty much all cards. It does have a board, sort of.
How the hell is that different from Canvas? There's a little mat.
I got
That's probably very, very similar in component-wise, sort of, to Canvas.
Well, this is an interesting conversation. Get to the
Sushi
game!
Go Party! Okay, maybe it's not nothing like Canvas. It's sort of. Sushi Go Party is... I could almost say that is my party game pick.
Mhm.
If I don't have any other ones later on. I don't remember what I have on my list, but that will, if I don't have any, that will be my party game pick because I just like the various options that you can play with from game to game.
Mhm.
Like I've said, where
Great menus.
yeah, you can mix and match things all the time just to change up the feel of the game a little bit. It definitely has to be a game that I think that you play with at least 3 or 4 players.
Mhm.
But it also
Agreed.
does play well with a lot of players.
I like 2.
It's one
as
of the
well.
few. It's one of the few. You like 2?
I mean,
We already know who's gonna win if we are playing each other.
I think
Yes,
we
we
should
do.
play 2 players.
But no, I think it's also one of those that does play well, even when you get to the higher player counts.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot of games that
Mhm.
you start going to the higher player counts, and it adds on an hour to the gameplay, and it's like I don't know. But since it's all simultaneous, drafting of cards, it's just
And it's so cute.
quick,
I love it.
fun.
So cute.
Yeah, great artwork.
It's so
Very
inviting.
colorful.
So inviting, I think.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's kind of just the. I know you guys had Dominion. I did not have Dominion, but it's kind of what Dominion is to deck building. It's kind of that to card drafting. I feel
Mm.
sort of. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of the base thing of. There's probably better.
Set collection.
There's probably better options, but
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like that could be said about it.
I think so. It's good because I think it's definitely my standard for anything that has similar
Mhm.
feels to it. My 37 is Bunny Kingdom.
Bunny Kingdom. Are you kidding me?
I don't.
The last time I wanted to play Bunny Kingdom with you, you were like, It took me 3 days to convince her to play Bunny Kingdom with the
Well,
expansion.
okay, we had just played it,
Okay, I'll give you that.
so.
But once we played it, I was in the mood to play Bunny Kingdom again.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything on my
Yeah.
list, but I was
Uh-huh.
in the mood to play it again even after we had just played it.
He really likes this game. I don't know where you are on it, but
I like it.
I like the set collection. I just struggle so much because it's kind of funny because I'm
Set
this
collection.
or not set collection, card drafting. Yeah, so it's really funny because I really am decisive in games. Like I just play. I make a quick decision. I kind of piece it out really quickly and go. And that obviously does not work in my favor a lot of times. But this game is like the slow down, hit a wall option for me. Like I'm like, I can do this one, I can do this one, I can do this one, or there's nothing worth it in my hand, and then you have to add in the factor of like, well, maybe I should take this one because I don't want him to get this one, or I don't want him to get this one, and so that one can really stifle me, I feel like, because it's either too many options or not enough options, and I just get overwhelmed because I'm like, well, I guess I'll just take this one and hope it works.
Not really the feeling you want from a cute bunny game.
No, I mean, and it is a really good game, and I really liked it when you brought it home. I still really like it. It's just, again, not one of those games that is like my stronger suit. It is still in my top 40, so let's remember that as we discuss Bunny Kingdom. It is just, I mean, it's a great game. It's just, I don't know. I like other games better.
Mm-hmm. We may have more to say about this later.
I know. Just, it's on my top 50 at least, so gotta give me credit for that.
Wow. It's not even that she likes it, she just wants the cred.
It's all about the
Don't
credit.
give her that fake street cred.
I struggled with this one. I didn't know where to put it.
Okay. What do we got? You want me to lead off with 36?
36.
Or do you have a good one?
I got a good one, actually.
Ooh.
Now a game. I want to see how you feel when I put one of your favorite games.
We've already gone through that in the last video.
Not like this.
Oh boy.
Stonemeyer game.
Ooh.
New this year. Red Rising.
Red Rising.
36.
I'm surprised it's on your top 50, I think. Maybe. Maybe not. You like it a lot.
I like it quite a bit. It has a little bit of that Raiders place down, pick up mechanism, place down the card, pick it up. Very tight hand management, kind of like Arboretum, like we've mentioned in the past. But I like it a lot more
In the previous video.
in the previous video. But I like this one a lot more than that.
Agreed.
All of the cards are so unique. I haven't even touched probably
Huh?
not even nearly half of all of these cards. Maybe I've hit half, probably. But yeah, they all have different scoring conditions, which I like. You don't go through too many cards in the game, so some of them can turn out to be useless. But yeah, it's just that choosing whether I want to play it to use its great ability or to keep it in my hand to get that scoring condition. That is probably my favorite part of that game.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. Do you think it'll move down, or do you think it's probably going to be solid
I think it's
while.
going to stick
for a while?
for quite a while.
Interesting.
Nice. We want to talk about that later.
Spoiler.
Number 36. I have another game we've already mentioned in this video. No one's picked it. But it's kind of a similar...
He really does
it's
not
kind
want
of
to cross
similar,
over.
similar to your Ticket to Ride Europe. It is Carcassonne. So one of the first games that got me into it. It's the only one of those that made my list, those four that I had mentioned. But there's... I don't know, this is kind of that first... Can't really even call it worker placement because it's not quite worker placement. You're just placing meeples, but it's what introduced me to the meeple, and
Tile placement.
it had. Well, yeah, it's tile placement. Yeah.
Obsessed.
But yeah, it's had me obsessed with meeples ever since. It it sucks now looking back that they're so basic compared to some of the meeples these days, but I give it the credit. I look at those meeples like they're
The granddaddies.
the granddaddy, some of the best meeples out there, even though they're basic. But yeah, I don't know, it can be. You probably think like it can be like cutthroat with certain players like myself or Jesse. Who
You do not want to be the third player in a Zach versus Jesse game.
we try to score as many points as possible. He really tries to get involved in other people's castles and all that stuff. Which nothing against that.
That's part of the game.
Right.
I'm
It is
getting a
fun.
60-point castle or nothing.
It is fun to see if you can try to somehow sneak your way into other people's stuff. But no, I just love. It's another one of those that's kind of simple outside of maybe scoring the farming stuff. But I love how it comes together.
Yeah. This one didn't make my top 50. It's granddaddy game, I feel like, in our history of this, but it's not one of the four that I would have picked that really brought me into this. I mean, I like it a lot. It's just...
Well, you just have to try all the new expansions we just got.
See, that's another thing that deters me from it. I'm like, ugh. How good is the game if they need 25 expansions?
Well, it's that good that they can sell that many.
Uh-huh.
Just like Ticket to Ride, the original
Cult
was that they could sell.
following.
Okay, how many Ticket to Ride games are there? Don't tell me there's not some
Well, they're
Ticket to
not
Ride on your list.
expansions, though. They're not expansions, though.
There are people that own all
They're
the Ticket to Ride
different.
games in their collection.
I would not be opposed to that.
Ooh,
All right.
Alan Moon is liking what he's hearing.
Mr. Moon!
Did
Money,
that
money.
Mac money.
All right, 36 for me is one we've listed today. You had it. It is Architects of the West Kingdom.
Ooh.
So I really like this game. I definitely did not like it as much when we first had it, when we were bringing it home every weekend.
So is it going like this on our list?
I mean, it was a struggle, I think, but just because I got caught up in building the buildings. But like you said, it absolutely is a race now. And I have won the last 2 times we played 2-player.
That got it into the top 50.
So I was like, this is easy. Why did I ever struggle with this game? It is actually funny because, I mean, looking back, I really did struggle with that game. And now that you've forced me into these hard games, it's like, this is easy peasy. After playing Paladins, I'm like, Architects is a breeze. So
That is true.
it's a great game. It's a good production. I don't like that other people can grab. I like and I don't like that other people can grab your meeples. Anything that's negative interaction, either the game is negative or other players impact you negatively, I think definitely takes away for me, because I think Jesse had mentioned it. Any game that rewards me is a good game in my book, and I think I have some kind of mental, psychological issues with negative.
I feel like it has that because of you get more and more resources, and that's why it
you
has.
have to be able to take them away. That's
Right.
why I said I like and dislike it, because I can't have you getting 6 gold when you lay your 12th guy on there.
Round them up.
Which is absolutely something I would let him do when we were first playing this game, because I was like, oh, sure, I'm just trying to do what I'm trying to do.
Right.
He's like, you can't touch me.
Yeah, it took me a while to get used to like the player interaction thing, because I don't think that's anything we really had to deal with too much in like Ticket to Ride.
Mhm.
Because I think we got it, pretty close to Carcassonne. Because I think Architects was kind of one of your first steps after those 4, or close to it, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, that's my 36.
I agree with that pick.
35. We're halfway there, boys.
Ooh.
What you got?
What do I got?
What do you got?
We're going back to the tricky taking games.
Fox
What
Trick
a-
Wars.
One of my
Ah.
favorite tricky taking games. My favorite
Hopefully
tricky
this
taking
is
game.
just the original, so he's
Fox
done
in
with
the
it.
Forest, the original.
Okay, good.
But I could put Fox in the Forest duet with it, I suppose. But no, the only trick-taking game I had played up to this point was Hearts, which at the point I didn't really enjoy, but I had heard so much goodness about this Fox in the Forest game, and that it was a 2-player game, and I knew that was our typical player count, so I'm like, gotta try it. It's a cheaper game.
Yeah.
It's just a deck of cards, a trick taking, and oh boy, does it work amazing.
That was when it was just me and you and Mankato.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I absolutely love Fox in
Yeah.
the Forest. I love how all the odd-numbered cards have special powers, and just trying to get them to work, and always doing whatever you could to try to win those 7-card tricks if you had them in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Either trying to catch someone off guard if they play a low card, where they kind of want you to win it, and then you're like, okay, well, if you're going to give it to me, I'm going to at least get a point out of this. But no, I just love how it works, and that you could potentially, even if you're down by a lot, you could come back and win the game if you are able to kind of set your opponent a couple times in a row.
Yeah. I think it's really fun that you have to try and go for a certain amount of tricks.
Right.
That's really intriguing to me, and that's what kind of makes
Right.
this game
That's what
special.
makes it. Yeah, that's what really makes it hum and actually work. I think is that you, have to get a very specific amount of tricks to get the maximum points if you want to.
Yeah.
But no.
It is a good trick-taking game.
I'll go next. My 35 is Fox in the Forest, and Fox in the Forest Duet.
Crossover.
At 35.
Hopefully Jesse was just kidding and he's gonna make it a 3-way crossover.
Oh, you bet.
Yeah, I'll talk about Duet then, because we kind of covered Fox and the Forest. I kind of lumped them together because I was like, yeah, I don't want to split hairs and use one spot for, one when I could just kind of bring them together. Because they're not the same game, but they're very similar. The only difference is Duet is a cooperative two-player game with a tug-of-war aspect, similar trick-taking feel, except that's not really like the main scoring component. And so I like that one when, maybe Zach and I have been playing a lot of games. I've been doing a lot of losing, and I need something to make me feel a little better about myself. Because then we can typically win that game, or just kind of recenters and kind of makes board games fun for me again. Because it's not just all about winning on my own. It's just about spending time and stuff like that. So
yeah, we've got videos on both of those. So if you're interested in those, check them out for sure.
Yeah, surprisingly, Zach likes Fox and the Forest better, and I like Fox and the Forest Duet better. So go check out those videos to see why.
I don't care about either.
Wow, sad.
He just doesn't have you to play two-player with him all the time.
That's true.
Okay. What do you got?
My 35, the exact opposite of that Duet. Cooperative BS.
That's the only cooperative game I like.
Wow.
You
You're
said the crew.
not gonna like all
Oh, yeah.
Pandemic seasons 1 through 0.
I'm not playing Pandemic.
1 through 0.
I'm not playing Pandemic.
You're playing it.
I'm not.
You're gonna force us to play as multiple characters.
Yes.
Wow.
Get Abby.
Wow.
Call Abby.
Well, my 35 is the opposite of that. This is a game that the end triggers once someone loses all of their points. So a very mean game. This is the game that I played online on Board Game Arena. Card game.
Have I
Yes, you
played
have.
it?
I don't know if you
I
have.
don't think I've played it.
Card. Lose all your points.
6 Nimmt.
Oh, yeah.
This is a game where there's numbers 1 through 104, I believe. Everybody gets like a deck of 10 or so cards. And you have 4 rows. And each can hold 5 cards. And they have to be played in ascending order. So everyone picks a card from their hand, and they're played out from lowest to highest to the closest number on one of those rows. So if there's a 5 here, someone plays a 6, that's going to go to the right of the 5. And whoever sets and places the 6th card in a row, each of the cards has a negative value on them, like -1 or 2 points.
I think it was bullseyes or something.
Yeah, bulls. So if you're the one who places the 6th card in a row, you take all of those cards and lose that amount of points. And there's just some sort of thrill when everyone reveals their cards and you're trying to outthink your opponent.
Right.
And you're like, I should place there. But everyone else is going to place there. But maybe they're thinking the same thing, so I'm going to place there.
Right.
And I love doing that, trying to outthink your opponents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like this game. It didn't make my list, but yeah, I do find that satisfying. And it seems like, too, that sometimes when you are thinking about those types of things, there will be a point where you're either going to make the right choice and it's going to pretty much save you the whole rest of the game,
Yeah.
or you can make the wrong choice and you're going to take a lot of or you're going to lose a lot of points.
Yeah.
Bam, bam, bam. It seems like that's what kind of happens. It's kind of a flow to the game. But yeah, that is really satisfying, especially when you do play the right card.
Mm-hmm.
Not so satisfying when you play the wrong one and it's like, or like something happens, like it resets and you didn't really expect that to happen.
Yeah. Wow, those were some good 35s, guys.
It was, especially yours, but even though it didn't match ours. But
Never
for number
played it.
34, I've got a game neither of you have played.
Oh.
Jesse played a version of this game, and it is Fleet the Dice Game.
Oh.
This is one that our friends in the cities have, Taylor and Kristen. We played it 2 times this last time I went to see them. That's all I've ever played it, but I just really enjoyed it. It's got that same feel as Gons. That's why Gons didn't end up making my list, but this one has a similar feel where I feel like you're really trying to get a lot of these bonuses that kind of allow you to do or cross off more things on your paper, and just I think there's 5 or 6 different fish or types of fish that you can try to catch, and they all have slightly different powers as you get different licenses for them, and then end up catching them. And I just found it very interesting and unique. And I think you could kind of take a slightly different strategy each time, and kind of depending on what dice come up, you could try something different.
That sounds a lot like the base Fleet that I played with you.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, and I looked at the board for the dice game, and it looked a little overwhelming to me.
It looks overwhelming, and it's 2 pages actually.
It is.
So you rip the 2 pages out and have them next to each other. And when Taylor first ripped that out, I'm like, oh boy, what do we got here? It kind of reminded me of, I haven't played it yet, but Hadrian's Wall or whatever from Garfield Games, where that thing, I'm pretty sure that's like a huge thing kind of like that, where it's got stuff all over the place. That's another one that supposedly has a lot of those bonus triggering type things. So we have to eventually try that one.
I've heard of Hadrian's Wall, so he's mentioning it to try and get me.
But no, I could see there are so many things in this that kind of trigger things, though, that it can be hard to remember what you did, or if you possibly missed something, which could end up being a big thing one way or another, depending on what you forget. But I found those plays extremely satisfying. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if it goes up or down.
Cool.
Cool. All right, for my number 34, I have Psy. I don't know.
Huh.
I don't think Jesse likes this game. I know Zach likes this game.
I like the metal coins.
That I added on?
That you added on.
I'll say that we're currently playing the campaign, the Rise of Fenris campaign, and that has made the game so much more enjoyable for me. I feel like I love, that there are goals now, something to kind of go for other than just like the 6 stars.
Spoilers.
That's in the base game. Whatever.
But no.
Yeah,
I agree.
and so I feel like that kind of has pushed it for me to it's definitely pushed me to play the game more. And so I feel like when we return to just playing the base version, I'll have a better understanding of the game and kind of different boards and how that kind of works. I do feel very, very behind in my thought process in this game. I feel like we were playing it with my brother and his wife Carson, and I feel like Zach and my brother are just like miles ahead as far as strategy in this game goes. And so I'm trying really hard to push it to get there. But I think if this is a game that your brain naturally gravitates to, it's going to be a great one for you. If it's not, then you're going to have the patience of the saint, like me, and play it multiple times in one night.
That is awesome. No.
Yeah.
I agree with everything, and luckily you can play with some of those new things after the fact too. So.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I feel the same way, kind of. I just feel so inefficient.
Pointless. Yeah.
I just feel so inefficient when I play that game.
I know. The only one that I really like playing is Roosevelt, because you get to do the same
Oh,
action
the same
twice.
one? Yes.
I'm like, that one makes sense.
No comment.
Yeah.
Moving on to
Yeah.
a huge game inside to the tiniest game. A game that actually takes up no space in our collection, because we do not own it.
Oh.
It is an app on my phone. That is the one-player card game Onirim. Mac loves it. I can tell. She's played this. She's a
Never
master
even heard of it.
in this game. There are
What does that
four.
mean?
There are 4 different colors, and you need to open 2 doors in each of those colors. And then there's 3 symbols in each color. So you're playing cards out on the table, well, on the phone, and you play them. You can't play the same symbol back to back, and you need to get 3 in a row of a color to get a door. It's easy.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy game, easy to win, except when the nightmares pop up and either make you remove all the cards from your hand, remove the top 5 cards of the deck, which you lose the game if the deck runs out, or get rid of one of your doors. And that is...
Or
it's
a
so
key.
Or a key, yes. Keys are very valuable, and I've wasted many of them. But yeah, it just amazes me how easy this game can be sometimes, and how just unwinnable it can be at the same time.
Yep, I had not played this one until this last weekend when I played it on your phone.
Oh, and I taught you very well.
As you taught me, and you're like, oh, I would do this. And it led to me losing in almost no time flat. I'm like, wow, this guy knows how to play this game. So, surprise, surprise, from those plays that did not make my list. But it was an interesting game.
Yeah, and there's 3 expansions in the game, or in the app, so that adds a little more depth to it.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go, then it might make your top 50.
It might, maybe next year. So next, number 33, I've got a crossover, but it was from the last 10
Oh.
with one of you.
With me. Oh.
Who will it be?
Mountain King this low.
It isn't with you.
It's with me?
It's with you.
Wow. I can't remember what I had now.
And this game also does not take up much space in our collection, because it is not in our collection. It is in Zach and Carson's collection.
Oh.
Lords of Waterdeep.
Ah.
Yes, I did not say much when you had brought it up, because I knew this was later on in my list.
Oh, tricky.
So I was being very tricky.
You did
No
trick
one
me.
could
I didn't
tell.
think
That's
you had
pretty
it.
clever.
Spoilers. No. So, yeah, it's a worker placement game that I,
Sucker.
like you said, I'm surprised we don't play it more often. I really do enjoy the game, and I love the adding new areas to the board that you can use as the game goes on, and gives you more options. And you can also be the one that puts those areas out, so then you can get paid some coin or whatever when people take those actions.
I don't remember any of this.
I've got to learn to do them because I just like doing the quests.
Yeah, I
And you-
feel like I focus on that quite a bit. And then your brother has the one with build the most buildings or whatever it is, and just dominates.
He always gets that one. It's like infallible.
Yeah, but no,
Added up
otherwise,
sleeve.
I give that one a very high rating, and definitely recommend it. It's pretty simple worker placement compared to some other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So you think this?
If you like D&D, I would say
you think it's the one that if someone has no interest in D&D that they should seek out, or do you think other things have done what it does better, possibly?
I don't.
Still pretty solid.
Yeah, I don't think you'd
I
have
don't-
to be into D&D to like it, because I mean it's pretty. It's like it's your usual things. I mean, I wouldn't say it's any different than like Ethnos and stuff. You've got. I mean, they just have different colored cubes to represent wizards or elves or dwarves or whatever. They're not like a major components.
I guess it depends. If you're into heavier games, then maybe not. Because I don't know if it adds like anything like insanely like new or groundbreaking. But it's another one of those comfort games, I think.
I'm guessing what they'd probably go for like Lost Ruins of Arnak or something. For something similar.
I think that would be similar
like
because
that.
I think it has that same. If I remember, I've only played it one time, but I think you've played it a couple times.
Yeah.
It does have that same thing where you add more areas as the game goes on, right?
Mm-hmm.
It has that similar feel.
So it's been killed by Arnak.
I wouldn't say so, but so I am on 33, and I'm also going over to Zach and Carson's house because
You can't put Lords on there twice.
I want to play the Valley of the Kings. And I'm solo in this. They don't understand why I like this game.
Well, I don't think he's ever
I've
even
never
played
Yeah,
it, seen
I
it.
don't. It's just a
You have to convince him.
it's a deck building game, which we like,
There we go.
and it's Egyptian themed. So the cards are laid out in a pyramid pattern.
Emo tap.
And you have to
Ask.
take one of the bottom cards, and the top cards fall down. And then on top of using the cards,
You sure
in
you
your-
aren't playing Seven Wonders Duel?
I don't like that one as much. Or no, I like Seven Wonders Duel. I guess Seven Wonders I don't super like. But on top of having
Throw that in there.
on top of having the hand of cards, to use to get more cards, you have to entomb them or whatever to actually gain points. And in that, you need set collection. And so there's this weird balance of I need to get certain ones, but I also need to use these ones. And so I like I like that. It's a challenging piece to me to be like, I have these ones in my hands. How do I use these and entomb them, because you can only do so many during your turn. The thing that turns me off is that at the beginning of the game, everybody gets one celebrity Egyptian, like a pharaoh or something, and they have different powers. And there are some that definitely are way more powerful than others. Like if you get a certain one, you most likely can win the game as long as you use it correctly.
You can win the game in 2 moves.
Not quite.
3!
But I mean, some of them are just way more powerful, and I think that hurts it. I'd like to see it, but maybe more balanced, maybe. I don't know. I like it. I've only played it a couple of times, but like I've said, I like deck building, and I think this is a neat example of that in the world that I play board games. So I'm sure there's probably much better options out there. Who knows? But this is one I like. So
I'm interested.
it's very cool. Not a lot of theme there, but it's cool.
And not many do have theme. This next one for me, it can have a theme.
All right.
Post-apocalyptic. I don't think you've played it.
No, I have not.
Zach has played it. This is Outlive. A worker placement game, kind of a worker movement.
Oh, I didn't know you guys played it.
Little bit of a rondel. There's like 8 action spots around the board, and you can move up to 2 spots with your workers. So you move 2, take the action, flip them over, use all your workers that way. Next round, you pick them back up from where they were, and you can move them around again. And one of the interesting things here is each of the workers has a number. You have 2 3s, a 4, and a 5, and that dictates how many times you can take the action. So you go to get wood, you can get 5 wood with one of them, or else you can use some of those points to hunt animals as well. Spend some munitions along the way, and if you end up on the same spot as another person, if your number is higher, you can take some goods from them. Which we definitely didn't do. Then you kind of have a night phase where you have to feed your people back at your camp, which I'm not usually a fan of feeding people, but I don't mind it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think when you played it? I'm guessing it's not in your top 50.
Yeah, I was going to say both of your 2 games that you mentioned I've only played once each, and I think I like both of them, but neither of them with those played. Well, that one, yours, I haven't played in a long time, so I don't really remember that much about it. That one I remember a little bit more. I think I have to play it a few more times to understand it, or to get it a little more, because there were a few things I was confused on in our play. I thought they had to continue to go around in the same, or in a circle, or I didn't know you could go both ways, which kind of threw me off right off the bat. But it was it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. I don't know if it would make my top 50 or not, but maybe with more plays. I don't have final thoughts on either of those games.
All right, down to
32.
32.
Ooh.
I would think this one would be on both your lists at some point. And it is...
I think we're going to cross over on the number. I'm calling it.
Western Legends. It's very unlike any game we have, any other game we have.
So unique.
I think.
So unique.
So you guys will probably both have it later. So I'll just try to give the quickest.
You can keep talking.
Oh boy. So, yeah, you take on a Western legend, some persona, and get like a special ability compared to other players. Well, at least once you get, and what you're trying to do is get a certain amount of victory points, and once someone crosses that threshold, the game ends in like an additional turn or whatever. And it's just kind of it's an open
world,
like a sandboxy type game where you can kind of walk around and do various things like play poker and get in gunfights with bandits or other players or the sheriff or a banker or whatever it is.
The guards.
The guards at the bank.
You can rustle cattle.
There's just a bunch of options. You can pan for gold. You could do that. You could do that
That's
the
what I do.
entire game and possibly win. You go there and then you go immediately to the what is the cabaret?
No, it's the bank.
You bring your gold to the bank and then you
And then
get
you
all
go
that
to the
money,
cabaret.
and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
go to the
Go
cabaret
buy points.
to spend that money.
Well, I think you get 1 LP per nugget too. So
Well, that's what I mean. You
Yeah.
could just continue to do that the whole game and potentially win, or you could go around as a gunslinger, just take out all the bandits, all the other players all gave, and possibly win that way too. I mean, there are a lot of options. I think this one, more than most of our games, gives you a lot of options of what
Yeah.
you could do throughout the game and
Yeah.
still have a chance of winning. And the theme kind of comes through. I wouldn't say it's totally all there, but it probably feels more thematic
throw
than most
some
games.
Western music on in the background,
There you
and
go.
you are golden.
But yeah, if you're looking for a Western game that kind of allows you to do those types of things, I think this is a perfect one for that.
Yeah. Safely live out your Western dreams by playing this board game.
Yeah. It's a shame I don't have a cowboy hat, otherwise I'd wear it.
No.
I'd wear it while playing the game.
My number 32 is a flip and right. Ooh, and it is silver and gold.
Oh,
It's a new one to me, but I really like it. It's kind of hard to place just because I haven't played it too much. I think it'll probably fall higher, like towards 50, 100. I don't know how you say this.
I never know how you,
Go.
what you're talking about when you
It's
say it.
going.
Okay.
It's gonna fall
I
higher.
don't think it'll go.
higher is better. That's how we'll say it.
Higher is better. Okay, so I think it'll fall lower at some point.
Actually, that sounds wrong now.
Just because there's just I don't know. I just haven't played it enough. I feel like it's still kind of got that hotness for me, and so that's why it's kind of up here further. I feel like after a while that will kind of wear off, just because you are pretty much just flipping cards and trying to do one of like 3 things, I think it is, and which I find really compelling and I like it a lot. So it's a good addition for this year, I think, and a good addition for filler games for our collection, your collection, whoever it belongs to at the moment.
My collection, I'll get the point.
Yeah, it's a very solid flip and right.
Yeah, for sure.
Very quick.
Yeah.
Very simple.
No theme whatsoever there, but
No.
it's a good one.
Oh, come on. My 32 is, I will say, the party game. But there's probably 5 more party games on my list. I don't know. Code Names. This is probably the most structured party game, win-lose, that we have. A lot of them can kind of drag on and turn into just an activity, trying to guess certain things, but this one really is a game. And that's probably why I like it more. Yeah. It's weird because this game, there can be a lot of downtime trying to think of a good hint.
Yes.
But it just doesn't bother me. I don't know why. Because I think everyone is sitting at the table trying to think of those hints. Even if you're the one guessing.
Yeah.
You're thinking, oh, if this is that and this is together, I would hint this. I don't know.
Right.
I think it's unique. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. That was my, outside of just one, that was my other one, other potential party game. I had those 2 were my big ones. Neither one made my list, but I was really hoping one of them would. But if we did a top 100, they probably both would.
Yeah, I like Codenames. I didn't realize it's very popular. It's almost kind of like it's riding the wave that Catan kind of rode for a while. I don't think it'll be longevity, Catan, but it feels like it's kind of sweeping through. I think.
I think you're wrong. I think it's
it's
already surpassed Catan, and I think
Really?
it's going to beat.
It is
Is
just
that the?
so
I'm trying to
approachable.
remember. That might be the most rated game on Board Game Geek.
Be.
I think it's one of the top.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have
Alright.
code names.
Well, excuse me, but
Yes, you're right.
yeah, I just
It has a lot of support and it has a lot of versions.
yes.
Yep.
And I think it's good. I don't like sitting there waiting while the person gives the clue, but it is
I'll
sometimes
remember
very.
that every time we play together.
It is very hard though to come up with clues
yeah.
sometimes, and for some people, I think this game can be quite challenging if you don't play it often enough. Which is why I think Just One is a better party game. But I love Codename, with people who like Codename.
Yep.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
All right, last one of this round.
For 31. Does anyone feel like their 31 deserves to be first?
No.
Oh, it's first.
Okay.
This one is the best. I'm gonna put you to shame. I think we all agree on this one too. I'm the uniter.
That's been me.
That's me. It's me. I think this was on all of ours top 10 of the year last year. It's a wonderful game. You have any hints?
Wow.
Have any ideas?
It's a wonderful game.
Wonderful.
It's a wonderful world.
Oh.
They didn't get it. Yeah, this one, like I said in the other video, this is just so clean and smooth. You're playing cards. You're producing resources with those cards, putting those on more cards, which completes those, which later in that round produce more resources and help fill more cards. And this is really as simple as that.
Yeah.
And it's so fun.
Mhm.
So smooth. So clean.
That's 31.
Yeah, this didn't make my list.
What?
This was probably my most shocking not making it.
We play It's a Wonderful World all the time. We just got the expansion.
No,
That's true. I couldn't get it on there.
I'm like wondering
Yeah.
what games are left at this point.
You got
Pretty much every
you got Fleet
Like-
the dice game. What even is that?
After 2 plays, and he doesn't have Wonderful World. That was like one of our most hyped games of 2020.
Well, just wait till we get to my 31.
There's like nothing left on his list. There's no games left.
It was
I
close.
just-
Oops. Giving away my spoilers.
I'm
This
just
makes no sense.
I'm just wondering how we can even play games together anymore. Because
Can't
like
coexist.
No, it's a great game, though.
wow.
I agree. It
I'm
is an
severely-
amazing pick.
I'm severely disappointed. Okay,
Should I do my 31?
sure. Just whatever.
Well, this will make you guys happy. Because I got our first 3-way crossover finished
Dominion.
right here.
Wait, no, you did Dominion, didn't you?
I didn't do
No, you
Dominion.
didn't.
But it is also a crossover in a series of a game I already mentioned. And so did Michaela.
Did we have one?
The Viscount.
The Viscounts of the West Kingdom at number 31.
I didn't think this was
That was
list.
in my top 50.
But yeah, but it's
Yeah.
overall, you guys mentioned
Yeah.
it before, it's a 3-way crossover.
All right.
Well, I know I like this game more than you, so I just like games more than you.
I don't know. I really enjoy the game. It's just one that's like I feel like
I have no complaints about it. You've got tons of them. You
well, I
couldn't
do have
stop
some complaints
complaining.
about it. There's just a few things on it that don't seem to flow, and I feel like if those did, it would be in my top 20. Because I like what the game has a ton, but there's just it mainly has to do with like the symbols on the top right of the card when you're buying cards, and then like having when these like what order some of these things are supposed to happen in. It just gets a little iffy in some of those areas, but if it didn't, I do love, like you said, the way the rondel works. I love that like if you're in the top, you're doing these 2 actions. If you're in the middle, you're doing or on the outside versus the middle, you're doing 2 different actions, and you can kind of just keep going around those spaces, and on the outside, and just trying to get your deck and build it to what you need, or possibly try to slim it down to, just 3 or 4 certain cards possibly. If you are really good at trimming your deck down, you can get it to just be like one type of thing and just do as many of that action as possible. It is a lot of fun to it. Another one of the Garfield games, kind of a Garfield mark.
Yeah. Accomplished following. Well, I'm going to end our video here on a low note. I'm sure neither one of these agree with me on this one. You might, but I don't know if it'll be lower or higher or not at all for you. And that is Lost Cities.
I don't think that's a low note.
No. Okay. Well,
That is
It's
to
a
he
good
go.
game.
didn't like it. He
to
liked, I mean, you like it, but you liked Arboretum better. And I
Right.
like Lost Cities better because you only have to hold cards or like weigh the balance of whether or not it's worth it to give them that card. You don't have to hold cards to to score them.
Okay, the next time we play, and I have 8 blues out, and you have the 10 blue, I want you to drop it. Put it down and let me have
I
it.
didn't say that
That's
was
not
it.
what she said. You're going.
Exactly. Your brother's listening to me. I was just saying I don't like that you have to hold cards to score your own.
I really want to score these. I guess I can play 2 of them.
Yeah, I much prefer the strategy of when do I give him this card, or do I have to hold on to this card, or when, where do I put it? I much prefer that. I love Lost Cities. It's definitely a bit trying for me at times, but I really like it. It's a refreshing 2-player game, I think, that we don't play often enough.
I did not know you liked it that much.
It is one of my favorite 2-player games, and you might be hearing it sometime soon.
If I lose multiple times, we'll definitely have to take a hiatus from it, but like...
That's more of what I thought you thought about the game, but...
Well, it's a 2-player game, and I can't always play you and lose.
That is surprising. That's actually a surprising note, because I would not have guessed. I would have thought this would have been in maybe your 40s, if you did put it on there.
Yeah.
So, to be at 31, that's pretty surprising.
Yeah.
But, no, it's a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I feel good. I look forward to beating you in that.
Perfect. All right,
There
well,
we go.
that is our next top 10. Join us next week for our, what are we at now?
30 to 21.
Oh boy, so we're getting
Get
down
to the
there.
actual decent games.
Right, we're finally getting to some good games. Games that Michaela might love once we get to maybe 21. She might love that game.
That or I'm just going to be way by myself.
Lost Cities is still a 6 for her.
Just be out in the island rowing over to meet you guys wherever you are. So, thanks for watching. Go check out our channel for everything else. We might have a couple of videos on some of the games we've mentioned today.
Mhm.
And don't forget to enter for our giveaway.
Yeah. And, aside of that, remember to
Keep
on
on
nibbling.
nibbling.